You won't believe what's been going on with Ford lately. They're facing some serious financial challenges, and trust us, this could have some big consequences, not just for Ford, but for the whole car industry. But hey, let's dive into the nitty-gritty and figure out what's really going on. So Ford spilled the beans on how they've been doing financially in the last quarter of 2022, and truth be told, it wasn't pretty. We're talking about a major loss here, billions of dollars down the drain. Last year, their electric vehicle business took a hit, losing a whopping $2.1 billion. But hold on, they managed to bounce back with a jaw-dropping $10 billion in profit from their internal combustion and fleet operations. Now, fast forward to 2023, and Ford's got a crystal ball out predicting what's coming next. They're foreseeing a $3 billion loss for their electric vehicle unit. However, the plan is to balance it off because they're also expecting to rake in about $7 billion from their internal combustion segment and another $6 billion from their fleet business. It's like walking a tightrope, trying to keep everything in check. And here's the kicker. These financial details are a pretty big deal. They're giving us a front row seat to see exactly how much money each part of Ford's business is making. They've even revamped how they report their financials, all in the name of helping Wall Street folks understand where Ford's electric dreams are headed. Plus, it's shedding some light on how the money from their regular internal combustion engine businesses is powering their move towards electric. But wait, how does Ford plan to combat this issue? Well, they decided to shake things up and split their business into 5 different divisions. First off, we've got the Ford Blue division, which is the internal combustion engine side of things. Then there's the Ford Model E division, just for electric vehicles. Oh, and let's not forget about the Ford Pro division, the team that's handling all the commercial and government fleet stuff. The 4th division is Ford Next, which focuses on mobility solutions beyond traditional automobiles and future technological advancements. This forward-looking approach aims to enrich mobility beyond the scope of conventional cars. Additionally, Ford's established financial services subsidiary Ford Credit continues to assist customers with financing. As per Chief Financial Officer John Lawler, these transformative changes have effectively granted Ford a renewed beginning. They've introduced heightened levels of strategic lucidity, discernment, and answerability to their growth and value-oriented Ford Plus plan. Ford is presently positioned in an exhilarating juncture as it molds its path in the automotive sector. Apart from splitting the business into different divisions, Ford has also embarked on job cuts and layoffs. Recently, Ford Motor Company officially announced its intention to carry out layoffs, primarily impacting engineering positions in both the United States and Canada. This move comes as a part of the automaker's extensive cost-cutting efforts, aimed at securing billions in savings while undergoing a comprehensive restructuring of its business operations. The layoffs are projected to influence all 3 of Ford's key business units: Ford Blue, encompassing its traditional internal combustion engine operations, Model E, its specialized electric vehicle division, and Ford Pro, dedicated to fleet service operations. Although the exact number of employees to be affected was not disclosed by a company spokesperson, Ford's recent quarterly filing in May revealed estimates of total charges for 2023 ranging from $1.5 billion to $2 billion. These charges primarily stem from employee separations and supplier settlements. By comparison, the figures were $2 billion and $608 million in 2021 and 2022 respectively, associated with similar actions. Ford has been engaged in an ongoing restructuring initiative for several years, spearheaded by CEO Jim Farley as part of the Ford Plus plan. The automaker had already undertaken significant workforce reductions, including a cut of 3,000 North American positions in August, followed by an additional 3,800 layoffs in Europe more recently. The company stated in its first quarter filing that it continues to assess its global business operations and is open to further restructuring measures if a sustainable path to profitability cannot be established, given the necessary capital allocation for those specific businesses. CEO Jim Farley has highlighted that Ford faces a cost disadvantage of approximately $7 billion compared to some of its competitors. The company is actively addressing this disparity through efficiency enhancements and workforce reductions. In the previous year, Ford's global employee headcount declined by about 10,000 individuals, reaching 173,000 according to a separate public filing. Ford emphasized its commitment to implementing its Ford Plus growth and value creation plan, which involves enhancing quality, reducing costs, directing investments to strategic priorities, and aligning staffing levels with the required skill sets. The company affirmed that affected individuals would receive severance pay, benefits, and substantial assistance in finding new career opportunities. Now, back to the divisions. Ford CEO Mr. Farley sees the Ford Model E as a hub of new ideas and growth. They're gathering a skilled group of people from software, electrical engineering, and car design. These experts will have the freedom to make amazing electric cars and digital experiences for the next generation of Ford customers. Their main goal is to push boundaries and create impressive results. On the other hand, the Ford Blue team's job is to make regular gas-powered cars more profitable. They want to make their classic car models even better and build strong relationships by offering great service. With their long history, they're working hard to improve quality, efficiency, cash flow, and how they make cars. Here's the interesting part. Even though Ford Model E and Ford Blue are separate, they'll help each other. They're also teaming up with Ford Pro to help business and government clients. They're offering different types of vehicles, software, charging stations, financing, and support, everything together. Now, about the Ford Model E project. Its main goal is to get the best people in software, engineering, design, and user experience. They want to use the latest technologies in all of Ford's products. They have a new way of creating and launching electrical and connected products for all kinds of customers, regular people, businesses, and ride-sharing services. But it's not just about building the cars. Ford Model E is also creating software and systems that make the cars really smart and connected. They want to always keep customers connected and happy. And speaking of customers, the Ford Model E is all about making sure people who buy their electric cars have a great experience. They're making easy-to-use websites, clear prices, and personal help from Ford experts. And don't worry, they'll use what they learn to make things better for people who buy their regular gas-powered cars too. But here's the thing, even though people like electric cars, the Model E part of Ford is spending more money than it's making. This might be surprising because electric cars have been getting more popular, especially big brands like Tesla. But here's a problem. The money they're making from selling cars isn't enough to pay for all the research and work they're putting into making these electric cars. Making new technology costs a lot of money, and that's not the only money problem. Getting the stuff they need to make electric car batteries like lithium and nickel costs a lot too. And sometimes they can't get enough of these materials because they're hard to find. Plus, when customers change their minds and cancel orders, it makes everything slower and more expensive, especially for new companies making electric cars. Here's an example. A company called Lucid Group Incorporated is losing a lot of money on every electric car they sell. A big reason is that the materials they need to make the cars are getting really expensive. In just 3 months of 2022, they spent a crazy $492.5 million. By the end of the year, they only had $1.7 billion left, which is way less than the $6.3 billion they had in 2021. So why is this happening? Well, not enough people are buying electric cars. Most people still like regular cars that use gas. Car fans especially love the loud V8 engines in regular cars, and electric cars don't have that. But Ford isn't giving up on their Model E cars. They think they can make money from electric cars by 2026. They have a plan: make more cars, make them better, spend less money, and sell more of the software and services that go with the cars. They want to make a lot more electric cars, like 2 million by 2026. That's a huge increase from the 61,575 they sold in 2022. Making more cars can make them cheaper to build, which means more money in the end. Even though Ford lost $3 billion last year after losing $2.1 billion the year before, they're not giving up. They think they can start making money from electric car sales by 2026. Will all of these approaches work? Let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section.